Welcome home.
Thank you for everybody who's here. I'm just watching the watch count go up and appreciate everybody who's tuning in live, everybody who joined us here in the audience. So let's jump right into this. I want to give a shout out to the Book Fair. Go ahead and get yourself a copy of the Book Fair. Proceeds and profits from the Book Fair go to the Mary Camp Foundation. So please check them out. If you want to donate or anything like that, their links are in our bio. I also want to give a special shout out to my man Howard's Blend. Check out that plant-based protein and that pre-workout. He got the fruit punch. Mention HAHOMES, you get 15% off. So shout out to my man Howard's Blend. Thank you for all the support. Last but not least, we're going to give a shout out to the good folks at the Friendship Inn, 601 West Veterans Memorial Boulevard, Killeen, Texas. Let us know. Stop by. Tell them HA sent you. They're great people over there. And also, I want to give a shout out to my man Josh in the audience. It's his birthday, so y'all can clap it up for my man Josh. Clap up. Yeah. He's young. It's not even 40. It's a baby. But with that being said, I want to welcome our guest today. Longtime friend. We've been working together for years. It seems like 4 or 5? 5. 5?
6, I think.
6? We're going on 6. It's a long.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Since I moved to the office over there, yeah.
Yeah. So everybody, Amanda Santos. I don't even know how to introduce you right now. It's like, we'll get into it in a bit. There's like a transitional piece here.
Huge transitional piece.
Shout out to Proper. That's why I have on glasses today. It really is. Seriously, it's part of my outfit because I feel distinguished because.
Well, you're one of the few people that have one so far. Yeah.
Yeah, we got the behind.
Hush hush.
We got the behind the scenes. So you know what? Let's just talk about that. Let's just get right into it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of an announcement.
It is. It can be. Yes.
So you want to talk about Proper Title?
So I have been in the title industry for a little over 20 years. And I was presented with an opportunity at the beginning of this year. We'll say that I was presented with an opportunity, but I took it. And so I have now launched my own title company, and all of my current staff are following me. We have new employees, and so we're very, very excited. Obviously, we have a new name, new logo, a new building, all the way around. Everything is new, except for what needs to be kept old, which is, keep my same people, my employees. So we keep it the same way. You get the same service.
And we had an opportunity to tour the backstage or behind the scenes of the building. Nova, could you bring that up real quick? So how big is the building exactly?
I think we're right at 4,000. The whole building is 10,000 square feet. My section is 4,000 square feet. So we take up just a little bit less than half of the building. We have a huge conference area that people can come and meet in, and they can have classes. We're going to use it as a party room because that's what we're known for. But it's a beautiful building. It's new construction. It's the industrial feel, more modern. Definitely something that this area doesn't have yet.
Okay. Well, I loved it. And I also heard that there's extra space in there for people who are VIPs.
Yes.
HAHOMES, Home Team, Prosperity Investments has it set up. So you actually have enough space to have room for some of the people who come there a lot, do work, do deals, bring clients and stuff.
Right. We found that some of our clients use our office quite frequently. We actually have makeshift desks set up right now for them to sit and be able to do research and ask any questions that they need to. And so we created an office for you guys to use so that you can handle your business and you don't have to be in front of us unless you want to be. So just trying to help you guys be able to do more and better business.
Right. Because you're very investor friendly.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of deals that we do, whether it's wholesale or sub 2 wrap, the whole thing, where some people won't even want to talk about it or touch it. You guys are like the masters at it.
Yeah, I've actually been told that by one of my really good clients, that he was told by another local title company that you guys were the guys they didn't want to deal with, which I thought was really funny because we all want the easy deals, but what makes us is the hard deals. And not that investor deals are hard, but they tend to be, sometimes you got to get a little bit creative to make them legal. So we don't have a problem stepping into that area. And all of my girls, I have an investor department, so that's what their specialty is just investor files. And so we do that on purpose because they can get a little bit more creative when we need to make it right, so that you guys don't lose any money and we don't lose any money, obviously.
And I appreciate that. And there's something that we actually wanted to talk about. First off, shout out to everybody that's tuning in. I'm not going to run through all the names, but shout out to everybody for tuning in. How do I say this? Nova, you got to bring up the band picture. There was a conversation that we kind of were going to have today that we're not really allowed to talk about. I can't really get into more details. The last episode we had to take down because we covered this topic. So I'm trying to figure out a roundabout way of kind of bringing up the discussion and the importance of title and the fact that you guys are willing to take deals that might have, 5 or 6 lien holders. You got to jump through more hoops, where some people won't want to bother with those and don't necessarily even do a good job with those.
Right.
So I think I said enough without saying enough. I'm not allowed to say anything else. So I'm kind of going to move on. And it was a really kind of an important part of the discussion we're going to have today.
Well, we talked, you came to me and we talked about that before you signed paper. But we did talk about it and we walked through it, and I told you, what I would have done differently or what I would have done the same. Title insurance, let's just face it, we would all love to be able to work off of a handshake, but that's not the world we live in anymore. And so the fastest way for you to lose money is by not getting title insurance. This building, perfect example.
This exact building
that we're sitting in right now. You brought me that deal. You said, I want to close it fast. It's cash. I'm getting a bang up deal and I got to close it fast. I said, okay, come at this, sit down. Let's figure this out. And I opened title. And then we found out there was a huge discrepancy. The building literally sat on the middle of a lot line, meaning that half of the building was owned by somebody else. Technically, it hadn't been researched, this particular building, since 1983. So since 1983, nobody had touched title on this building. And so we open title, we get the survey, we find out what the problem is. I couldn't get any of the surveyors. None of the surveyors wanted to touch doing easements and whatnot. So I had to convince, go to Twin Liquors, grab a bottle of Crown, go over to my surveyor, and beg, plead, and borrow to get your deal done. And we did. We got it done pretty fast.
Yeah.
And then we fixed it so that you could sell it.
And there's a couple funny things behind that. So let's add to that. So I was buying the building cash. Nobody could buy it financed because of the easement issue. So what happens is I had to jump in the deal cash just because it was even at the purchase price, it was a good deal.
Right.
Because you found out that discrepancy, the family that was inheriting it was even more motivated when they found that they couldn't sell it to anybody else. So due to your due diligence and through your research and us continuing to work through it, you actually saved me $60,000 cash out of my pocket.
I remember that phone call and you were like, I'm buying it cash. Let's just close it. And I said, no,
right.
We're not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's me a bit as reserved and as, I don't know, because I'm impatient when it comes to certain things, but in other ways I'm impulsive and I like to just go off my gut and do certain things. I would have still bought it at 150, but I was happy to save the 60. In fact, I was so happy. This is an exclusive right here. So we can go 2 in a row. I like to give gifts, right? And I'm gonna give you a story about that in a second. But we had this conversation. So I found that I'm saving $60,000. And Amanda's last name is Santos. I happen to wear different watches. I happen to have a watch that happens to be called a Santos. It's a Cartier. Santos.
I'm still waiting for it.
Yeah, right. So I was like, hey, you got to get a Santos. Your name Santos says it's the perfect watch for you. So I'm like, I got to get her something because, everybody does their jobs and people go over and above, but $60,000 is a lot of money.
Mhm.
And again, I was prepared to spend it. So I'm already actually on Cartier. Like I'm already shopping, this, that, and the third. So I'm like, Santos, should I do it? I think I'm going to do it. And I'm like, wait a minute. Let me take a look at this. And then like, like in the, like on a sitcom when they have like that flash and like their light flashes before their eyes and everything. And I'm like, but Amanda is always, dressed high fashion. So you got to get something. I don't feel like you did bad in the deal because you didn't do it to get anything. It worked out good.
I don't ever do it to do anything.
And so got a nice scarf out of it.
I did. I got a Burberry scarf with my initials embroidered in it, and I love it.
Yeah, because I'm like, what don't you have? And she's like, oh, I don't. It's like, boom. So you got an accessory. So every 50,000, I guess we save. You have an accessory covered.
It's something else. Y'all heard it. You heard it.
Yeah. So the next 50,000 we save on something because we're working through a big deal now.
We are working through a huge deal right now.
That's taking some time.
21 mobile homes part.
23.
23. Well, we got an office in there.
Yeah, but his office he lives in, and that's another rental.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the thing with the gift giving, if I could just throw this out there, like the way I was raised and the people we was raised around, like none of us really had dads around us. None of us. It was all just like whoever. That's why I always give my brother so much props. 6 years older than me. I always give him props, and like he raised me 6 years older than me. But I'm gonna make the story real short. There was this owner of a strip club. His name was Blitz. Everybody shout out, they know Blitz. He was like our basketball coach, like our AAU. He ran the basketball, but he also happened to be like behind the scenes of Scores in Manhattan. So all the black basketball players, he got jobs. All the younger dudes worked in the movies. Everybody that was older got to work in Scores, got to work in strip club. And he got us all jobs, and everybody did their jobs and was happy. There was a kid, Chino. Shout out to my man Chino, got the job. And then Blitz was like, it's like the coolest dude, old school, whatever. He always wore like sweatsuits. He bought him a sweatsuit. Like just cause. And he was like, yeah, Blitz, I gotta say thank you. And I was like, damn, I didn't say thank you. I learned that lesson at like 15, 16. So anytime I go somewhere, you're always gonna get a gift from me because I always want to show appreciation.
Right.
So I tried to kind of make it where $6,000 watch was 10%. But again, I probably would have died if I bought you a $6,000 watch. So you got a $600 scarf. So, that's still not bad, right? It's still not bad.
No,
so
it's great. It's a great gift.
So let's get to fashion for a second. I'm gonna shout out my man Jerry. So we have a conversation the other day. We closed on a deal Friday?
Friday. Mm-hmm.
Right. Sold the property. And you're like, yeah, what'd you say about your out? You said
I said, I asked you what you were going to wear. I said, Jerry said, I got to bring it. He's going to be looking at my shoes. So I was like, I got to figure out what I'm going to wear. I thought I was going to wear tennis shoes and keep it casual, but I decided at the last minute to make it profesh. So that's why I'm wearing what I'm wearing today.
No, I think it looks, if you would have wore sneakers, I wanted to see what kind of sneakers you were going to break out. I didn't know.
Looking at my Chanel's is what I was looking at.
You should have broke them out. We can always edit this in post.
I've only worn them twice.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's cardinal sin. You can't wear stuff twice on this show. And I actually changed my outfit because I got the shirt and I was like, I have sneakers to match. We're going to break them out.
I know. Y'all see the teal?
Yeah, you see the teal? These sneakers are like 15 years old. You don't even know that. And you were just sitting in the closet. I was like, this is why I had them. So, shout out to Iris. And I'm saying when we're in the house and I'm like, I need these sneakers. Yeah. It's for moments like this.
Yeah.
But that being said, so we know what we can't talk about. We know what we're getting into. Right now, and this is something that has kind of been an overlapping theme throughout the season, just because every week some new content comes out. We've been talking about DJ Envy and C's opinion, and their fraud and who's guilty, who knows what, this, that, and the third. Mm-hmm. In your line of business, do you come across shady individuals?
Yes, I do.
Tricksters and scam artists? Do you want to talk about that, or how you help keep people safe or that type of thing, or how people can safeguard themselves?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're not going to name names because of privacy issues, and frankly, I don't want to be sued. But we absolutely do come across fraudulent people, and some of them very well known in this area. There's two, as a matter of fact, that I will not do business with, even if they bring contracts. we will tell them that they need to go and work with another title company, just because I feel like if I can't trust you and trust your word, then we're probably not meant for each other, you know? And that's one of the things that I can appreciate about you and Jerry, some of the other investors we work with, is you just always keep it 100. You know, when you have people that are preying on the elderly and getting deeds done, quit claim deeds are a big one, and they're very prevalent in y'all's industry in general, is doing those quit claim deeds. Those are red flags for us here in Texas, especially. And so when we start seeing multiple ones of those, then that's a red flag for us to look a little bit deeper. And there's people in this area that do it all the time, and they're very well known for it, and they're well known for committing full out fraud. You know, I've had people get kicked out of houses before because there were, you know, deeds that were filed that shouldn't have been. And people think that the county really monitors them, and they do to a degree, but you have to think about how much business is going through Bell County on a normal basis. They can't monitor every single thing that is filed of record. The other thing is, and I see this a lot with you investors, is people filing memorandums of purchase, even though their contract has been expired. We see that a lot because usually when you guys are going to clients, you're not going to people who have time. You're going to people who need money and they need it fast. And so sometimes they agree to things that they wouldn't necessarily agree to if it was under another circumstance. So maybe they let that contract lapse. That person goes and files that memorandum, even though their contract is gone. And then when it comes to closing, they ask for money. And sometimes it's true. And I've actually told you, and I've told a few of other people, you need to go and do this. But a lot of times what we find is not. It's just a way for them to cloud title so that they can get fast money because they know that these people are hard up and just want to close on their deal. It's very sad.
Yeah, I feel like this. I made it this far, no legal problems really. I mean, like I said, everybody has lawsuits in business. You know, you can't avoid those sorts of things. But like criminal, there's no need to start. We have money. Like, why would you start messing up now? You know, I know some people may not have money and that's why they do those things. But I mean, if you have an opportunity to make legitimate business and these large lump sums, it's just something that doesn't make sense to me. Obviously, I'm not that type of person, so I don't understand why you would do that. But it's tough and it's very scary. And I don't think that people who want to get into real estate investing really understand how important title is. Title, you guys doing background search, liens, and all of these things. Is there anything that you, like I said, just a safeguard, somebody that's trying to get in, like anything? Because I know it's like in
all
the details.
It's not good business. The one thing is, don't ever give anybody cash. I mean, you will have people that will say, "Oh, it's clear, title's clear." Of course it's clear. Of course it's clear. You know, but you have to pay me today, and then you never see that person again. That's, you know, if somebody's wanting you to move that fast, that's a big red flag. You know, if they're not ready for you or wanting you to go to a company that's going to research the property, red flag for obvious reasons. I think that's the biggest thing, is making sure that you CYA your contracts. You know, make sure your contracts are lived with all your I's dotted and your T's crossed. You never know when you may give somebody the out, so where they don't have to sell their property to you or they don't have to buy it. You know, so making sure you have right representation. If you're working with a realtor, make sure you're working with a realtor that understands what you do, because you're not the average seller. You know, you are somebody who's gone in and you're trying to make money. You know, like I said, all money is not good money, and we know that. And I know people in this business who have realtors, lenders, who have given credits and taken money out of their pocket to make deals happen, and it always pays it forward. Always comes back for them. And so that's one of the things, you know, we don't mind doing that for our investors. I always try to give you guys, you know, as long as you're honest and upfront with us, we're going to be honest and upfront with you. And I'm going to tell you, this is not a good deal, and this is going to get you sued. And you don't have to follow that advice. I'm not an attorney. I don't profess to be one. I do have to know a lot about the law because of what I do. But, you know, all business is not good business. And if I'm telling you it's not a good deal, it's probably not a good deal. Just like this one, we could have closed that. And just like I told you, we can close it, but you're never going to be able to sell it. So that $60K that you put out, and it was a great deal on this building, is still $60K out of your pocket that you would have never recouped if we hadn't got to fix the problem.
Right. Yeah. Because we would have never resolved. And then
if it was about the money, we could have closed it because I would have been make my money no matter what.
Right.
Right. But for me, it was more important to take care of you, to make sure that you were going to be able to sell this one day, because then I get to make money twice.
You get to double it, and you got a scarf,
and I got a scarf, and it's very pretty.
and not a watch. As I see, I have what are those knives? Yeah, those are knives. Yeah. Yeah.
He told me.
Yeah. Josh was nodding. Yeah. But like, you know how sometimes you have ideas that sound good on paper.
It sounds great.
It's like, yeah,
it sounds great out loud too.
It's 10%. It's not. I was already gonna spend it. I was like, could I write that off? Is that a tax write-off?
Yes.
But you know what I'm saying. But I guess we'll find the deal, or you know, we'll have to do something proper so that it's like you get the Santa, like, you know, you got Nicole in the crowd. So Nicole, you know what we got to do. I got the jeweler. We'll get it for you. Get a nice one. We, 4,500, 5,500. Get you a nice. We'll work it out.
I'm totally fine with vintage. It's so.
Oh no, they don't even. they jewelers get the watches wholesale.
Okay.
So if you're getting a ladies is like.
If it's a Rolex.
No, we're not getting no. Not everybody. That's what. That's exactly. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. So you have that pet peeve too?
Yes.
Because I feel like if you're around me and you have something fake, then it makes all my stuff look fake.
Yeah. My rule is you have to have twice as much real as you have fake. So because every once in a while there's things that are trendy that you love, but it's not going to be like a thing in a month or so. Like, you're looking at me all crazy. That's my rule. Okay. I don't know what Hussein's rule is.
Nothing fake. No fake until you make it. No fake jewelry. No.
When Santos has Hussein money, then we have nothing fake.
Yeah,
we ain't there yet.
Everybody watching this knows Hussein's broke. That's the.
Hussein is so broke.
Hussein don't have no money. I don't have you. I am broke. So that being said, let's pay some bills. Speaking of, we know what, we're gonna go to commercial on that. Let's give a shout out to how it's blended. We'll come back and we'll talk about how broke I am. Let's get it. Bro, I can't. I can't. Here goes. I don't know if it's a New York thing or just the way it was. Like the whole, like, who was it? I think Mike asked me the other day, like, what is it with polo? What is it with polo? Like, what is it about all of those things? And it was like low lives, right? Like low polo, Ralph Lauren, low lives. The whole gang, which I'm too young for to originally be a part of that, but whatever. Like my uncles, my older brothers, or whatever. Like, they would steal, like 40, 50 deep, run into the store, steal, people on the corner, steal, robbing, to have something of value. I don't know if that, I'm not bigging that up. I'm just telling you what it honestly was. Half the clothes I had was because somebody stole it and it was too small for them, so they gave it to me. It was like a hand-me-down, but it was expensive. Like, so to me, I just feel like if I can't afford, like this watch itself, and like in the back of it, it's inscribed, it says everything in time. When I first saw it, I wanted it, but I couldn't get it for 20 years. Mm-hmm. So I got the exact one I wanted. The Pepsi watch. When I first wanted it, it took me certain years. I got the exact one I always wanted. So I'm nostalgic like that.
Right.
I just feel like part of the fun of getting something that you think is expensive is getting like the accomplishment.
Right. The hard work that went into it. And so by me having something fake, I'm discrediting your hard work that you.
Nah, I just won't stand next to you. I just be like, nah, I have to bag check you every time. I'm like,
okay, now my bags are legit.
Anything is fake. Okay. You just opened it up.
My bags are legit.
You just said 2/3. Now I'm like, is the balance? You said you did 2/3. You see?
What though? I said in general.
You think you know somebody, and then you get C's opinion, and I'm DJ Envy. I brought you on the show. No.
You know, I got my first Louis during COVID. And I was do you remember? I had it. I was so excited to get it. And then since then I've gotten a few more. But I was so excited, but it was the accomplishment. And I could have gotten a lot of other fake crap up until that point. And I had it. I didn't. I waited. I held out, and I got it from the store. And I got that pretty, orange box and everything.
Right.
And I was so excited. And it still sits in my closet up on a shelf, all pretty, The boxes, they're like $40, $50
Yeah.
just to get a box.
And you get the
right?
dust bag with the tan in it.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about paying for those types of
The
things.
shoes, yeah, you get the little Louis, the tennis shoestrings and stuff. I didn't even know that. I saw that the other day because I was having Asher, my son, clean my Louis. And I was like, my laces are kind of dirty. And I looked in the box and there's a pair sitting there. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's great. But I get that totally. I think for me, because I'm a single mom, sometimes validating those purchases doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I obviously make room for them also.
No, listen, and it.
Why you being over there judging? So.
No, I'm not. The only thing I'm judging is the fake it till you make it. Like my clients know I have a rule. There's like a saying, like if you could buy it twice, you can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
My rule is, let me see. Oh yeah, of course, Ma. You're welcome. My mom's. I got my first Louis Vuitton for my birthday. There's a video that I gave.
You showed it to me.
Yeah, I gave her a brick of money in the bag. Yeah, cause so like, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, there's a sense there, but like, I don't know. I'm not judging anybody, but for the rule that I give the clients is if you could get it 10 times, then you buy it.
Right.
Or use, like, let's say you have 5 rental properties, swipe your credit card and let your rents pay it down. That's how I got my first car.
Right.
Every car I ever had, if my rent wasn't taking care of it, I couldn't afford it. So I had to wait on the beam. I had to, because again, there's like a level of accomplishment to it. And funny story, I was home looking at pictures. I get nostalgic every time I go home. And I found this picture. This would be up, when we do the short. Like when I was a kid, I really didn't care about sneakers, this, that, and the third. 91 Bulls play the Lakers. I'm watching the game. Sam Perkins keeps hitting free throws. Like they're going crazy. It's like I'm watching the game. Didn't care about Jordan as far as the sneakers. This is like when I fell in love with he's in Staten Island. This is my cousin. Shout out to my cousin Ja. He had on Bugs Bunny 8s. And they were like the cool. I didn't know anything about sneakers. I was 10, 12. And he had like the coolest sneakers on in the world. And that was it. And then I went to a birthday party for a friend a couple months later, and her sister, they're the same age. They all went to school like my brother. They're all like 6 years older than me. She had on the same sneakers. Like, the teenagers are wearing them. This is what the cool kids are wearing. I gotta get a pair. And then I tried to go get a pair of them. They didn't have them, but I got Aqua 8s, which are my favorite sneakers. Now, for those of you who don't know, you'll see the picture. They're the perfect sneaker. Actually, the sneaker I had on the other day, I just bought the playoff 8s because they just re-released them after 30 years. I got my first pair. So shout out to my cousin Ja. A lot of my original sneakers and the bigger ones that I had in the glass case and the book fair and all of that were like, they had them. And I remember it was 2 pair my cousin had. And I was an adult. And I was like, man, you don't even wear, you should just let me have these. Then you put these in my collection. And he was like, yo, if you go to the store for me right now and get me Chinese food, you can have them. I got up in the rain, got him, and I got 2 pair of Jordans like that. So it's like a funny thing. It's like, I feel oxymoronic because when I talk to people, it's like, don't do this until you could afford it. But meanwhile, I'll go out and, not that I can't afford it, but it's just like, don't put value on clothes because and then I'll go out and buy 2 pair of sneakers. Like, right. I think I'm brainwashed. You feel like you're brainwashed?
Well, what's funny is, so last year for Christmas, my son, who just turned 11, asked me for Dior Jordans. I think at the time they were, well, you can even buy them. They were $7,000 if you could find them. Of course, I did ask him, what did you ask your daddy for? Because I know he didn't ask him for that. But it's funny because you say, yes, I do feel like we are a little bit brainwashed because what does my son know about, he's 11. What does he know about Dior? Nothing, but he sees me. He sees me with the Louis. He sees me with Gucci. And so I need that too. And so I'm struggling with that element of because of the whole earn it, I want you to earn it. I earned mine. You need to earn yours. So trying to validate that to him. And that's one of the things. It's not because I can't buy it. It's just because I don't necessarily need to. I'm gonna bounce back to that on my buy some fake shit every once in a while. Okay.
No, you're not gonna convince me. If you're trying to convince me that buying fake stuff is okay, we're gonna disagree. I think this is the only like olive branch I could say for myself personally. Women can get away with costume jewelry.
That's true.
Because you could wear jewelry with all this, that, and But for me personally, like I wouldn't wear anything.
I won't wear fake diamonds.
Yeah, I wouldn't do nothing.
Gotta draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, but that's a Hussein thing.
Yeah.
The only other person who has to live with that standard myself is like my wife, and none of her stuff is fake. We got rid of it.
We already know she does exercises for her ring. I don't know if y'all seen it. Well, one of them. I don't know if y'all seen any of them. All of them. It's like she's probably having to lift weights to make sure she can lift her arm up. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and we're working on the next one. We had a conversation about the next one.
The next one. Do you hear this?
Because like for me,
5 times. Remember this. Remember Hussein has no money. 5 times. Exactly.
Yeah, baby. That's why I don't have money because she got so many rings. I don't know, but no. So we were looking at watches, and so I was like, all right, let's get another. We get the next watch, but you got to have a ring to match your watch because you're not gonna have a round engagement ring and a rectangle face watch. You have to have a rectangle face watch with a rectangle diamond, and that diamond can't be a smaller diamond than the other one.
Of course not.
So we're shopping for that right now, and a couple other things. But I said this earlier this year, and I've held true to it, and I'm gonna probably wrap the end of this year with this discussion. 2023. I mean, and you deal with so you know how much we've been in there, haven't been in there, whatever. To volume, 2023 has been a slow year for HAHOMES. Mm-hmm. Right? Like we were doing 80 flips, 70 flips,
Maybe it's the first of the year. You're the
I
real strong right now. Yes.
I know. I don't have any money, y'all. I promise you. So towards the end of the year, we get the hotel. We're buying a mobile home park. We got the 6. And I'm sorry, I'm getting. It's not because I don't want to bring you the deal. I tried. I tried to bring you the deal. I'm getting a 6plex tomorrow and another 23 unit. So it's like the volume's not there, but the deals are getting bigger. Mm-hmm. And my wife and I had this discussion about being broke versus being poor. And I'm like, I could say, and we had this discussion, like, I could say I'm broke.
Right.
But my broke is like, I'm broke because I'm buying a $2 million property. You know, I got to put down 30%. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I can't buy this other building. But I sacrifice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like regular people sacrifices, like, you know what? We're going to cut back on this because it's good to be humble because things are slowing down and we don't know. Mm-hmm. We could have bought a bigger house. I still have the same house. Still got the same Nissan. Like, I think that a lot of people don't have that humility, and that's where they kind of run into problems. And in terms of like you were talking about, like with Asher, I don't think that there's anything wrong with like setting, let's say, call it a certain standard. Mm-hmm. I'll give you another story. And my brother's on here. Shout out to my brother. And Trey, I think, might be on here watching this. Is like, we were on the bus. And my nephew's like a little guy, like 3. He's like 30 now, just to give you like the scope. And my brother was telling me the story. And that's what I'm saying. Like my brother like raised me. Like I get a lot of this stuff from him. He is like, man, I felt corny the other day. And I'm like, damn, like why you felt corny? What happened? He was like, I took Trey shopping and we passed Payless. And it was Yu-Gi-Oh sneakers. And he liked Yu-Gi-Oh. And he wanted the Yu-Gi-Oh sneakers. But he was like, I'm not getting him Payless sneakers. We went right past that. We went right to the sneaker store and I got him, sneaker Jordans, whatever he got him. Right. And he was like, I felt corny because he really wanted those and he would have really been happy with those. But I felt corny with him. So it was a conversation. And then boom, a few years later, Angelina is around. All my daughter wears now is Vans and Converse. But since she was young, I customized all her sneakers. Mm-hmm. If she wanted Jordans, she could go and pick anything out. But she's like, no, I like these because that's her style. Right. So I'm like, buy the whole rack, get it's $60, buy the whole store. And she's like, nah, I just want this color. And could you just draw this on? And I don't know how she dodged that bullet, maybe, but I don't know. As a parent, it's a tough conversation.
It is. Well, and I think we face it, especially now with our youth, because, I know myself growing up, there were things that my parents definitely implemented in me that I know that made me stronger. And then there's also things that I will say to this day sucked and I didn't like them and they didn't do anything for me, but let me sit here today and tell you that it sucked. So, with him, I feel like we get into this. Our kids are never uncomfortable about anything right now. Their feelings matter with everything. And that's hard because, I grew up that the world did not revolve around me. Today, it does. It revolves around me. It revolves around you. Mm-hmm. It revolves around you, all of you, because if we find offense, we get to voice it and then we get our cancel culture and all of those things. So, you know, it's very, very hard, especially as a single mom, because I don't want him to be cocky. I don't want him to take things for granted. And so I try to really ride that line with him and make him, you know, take care of the things that he has. If I'm going to buy you Jordans, I want to know that you're taking care of them. I don't want to see any creases on them. I need to see them clean, right? Clothes, same thing. I need to know that you're taking care of them. I don't want to see your stuff on the floor. If you're not going to take care of it, then why am I going to work extra hard to put it on your back? Right. So I'm not going to do that. You know.
You think your success is making him lazy, or you think it's too early to tell?
Both. I know that he sees me. He sees how hard I work. He'll see me sometimes, especially through this whole transition. I've definitely had some moments where I was very overwhelmed, and he can read me because he's my son, obviously. He knows he can read me like a book. And so he'd come and ask me, are you okay? So I know he sees what I go through and what I do to get what I have. And I know that, you know, his dad tells him too, like, your mom has worked so hard and all of those things. So I'm hoping I make him do chores and things like that, but nothing like what I did.
Oh no, I could imagine. And that's the thing. Like, we talked about this off air, like social media and how those things impact everything. Thankfully, like, Angelina is about to be 18. So it wasn't so much the norm that like a 6-year-old had a cell phone. Like now, 8-year-old, like it's like you can't have it. You're sending your kid to school without a cell phone. Like, are you a terrible parent? How are you gonna know where they're at? Like, if they're in school, they better be in school. Like, so I think she's like in that age where she kind of like missed it a little bit. But like kids born like in this decade and so on, it's like ingrained in them. Like they're 8, 9 with TikTok accounts, and they know how to do all of those things. And there's so many, I don't want to say pressures, but there's so many outside influences that you can't control, where before you were just a parent and you had to worry about the 25 kids in the classroom and the one kid that curses too much or the one girl that talks too fast. But now it's like they just boop and it's there.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's scary to think about, like, you know, we got grandbabies, you know, like what are they going to be like in 10 years? What are they going to deal with? Homeschool and all of these other things. So I'm asking just because I think it's a good discussion. Like, I don't have that answer.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still trying to balance that myself, because like, again, for me, I'm like, hey, like, I feel like I'm doing an all right job as far as being a parent, because all the kids basically have property. They all talk about business. They all want to. So I'm like, all right, as far as that, we're all right. I did my piece there. Like, nobody's really talking about, I want to go get a job. I want to do that. It's like, I want to build my business. But then the checkpoint is, but you might have to get a job, because you got to do what you got to do what you want to do. But the cool thing is that the hard work isn't like omitted, where some kids are like, I'm going to be my own boss. It's like, how are you going to get there?
Yeah.
TikTok says, all I have to do is open up an LLC and get $50,000 of business credit.
Yeah.
TikTok said it. That's just a fact.
I tell Asher that all the time. You know, he watches all these sneaker review shows and everything. I'm like, look, honey, if you weren't there, you missed that ship. It has gone. It has sailed. You know, back in the day, all we cared about in school was not getting our clothes from Walmart. We didn't know about Louis and Dior Jordans and all of those things. So it's, you know, it's a big, big change in the way that I grew up versus the way that he is growing up today. That's for sure. He definitely is some liberties that I didn't.
I'm telling you, and it's different. Like, I go back to low lives, you know what I'm saying? That's why I shout out like all the Thurston Howell, all these dudes. Like, I grew up in New York in the 80s and the 90s. Like, we used to steal our stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, straight like that. Like, if I had on this and a different outfit and $2,000-$3,000 worth of clothes in high school, it's like, you understood what that was.
Yeah.
So it's like these committing like basically prison stuff to look a certain way. So like taking jail risks just to have on a nice outfit. Whereas nowadays these kids are like, mommy, 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 and they put it on a credit card and then still end up getting robbed in certain situations. But I don't know. It is scary. And it was something that we were talking about and read the other day, where this, because like right now we're in a downswing, right? Every 10 years the ebb and flow, where they were talking about the bubble of 2008 was due to subprime lending and those things. And this bubble is going to look a little different. I mean, we know it's interest rates and all these things and whatever, but the tangent to that is that even if it's not so much housing, it's everything else. It's people are over leveraged, the car notes, the credit cards. You can finance your iPhone. Mm-hmm. So people are putting like groceries on credit cards, and it's like, well, then stop buying this, that, and the third, but still will go get a new car.
Yeah.
Because you can.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's scary because, like, I'm old. I always tell you I'm old. So, like,
you're younger than me, but okay.
You didn't have to tell anybody. Nobody would have known. Nobody would have known if she didn't say it. But it's almost like unnerving to think about these children that are coming up. They're the ones that have to take care of us in 20 or 30 years.
That is terrifying. We just went through COVID, and well, like everybody else did, but through COVID, everybody knows real estate went crazy, absolutely insane. We went from doing X amount of business times 3 overnight, and we still had the same amount of employees. And we do a good book of business, and I always run a thin plant to begin with. I like to keep my girls going, and I feel like they perform better that way. But so I had to go through a lot of hiring, and I hired a lot of younger people thinking they would be hungry, thinking that was, the better thing to do. And I don't want to say I was wrong, but boy, was I wrong. It is terrifying to think how hard we were. It was ingrained in us to work. Like if you wanted something, you had to work for it. And today it is not like that at all. Everybody's concerned about their feelings, and they're concerned about, working hard. During COVID, I didn't have time for fluff. We had deals to close. I needed you to work. And I didn't really care how you felt about it because I was paying you. But that's a deal now. It is a deal. And these companies, especially these corporate companies, have these huge HR people who monitor and they pinpoint, and you can say one statement and it gets construed into, all these different things. And that's sad because people don't want to work anymore. They just don't want to work.
I agree. There's actually, and there's articles and studies being done. So was it Gen Z, these guys?
I don't know which one I'm a part of, but
we're millennials.
Okay,
right? Like but the young folk. There's articles about bosses and corporate, and I'll pull that up. I'll pop it up when I do the short. There's like data that says that children under young adults under a certain age, bosses are firing them because they don't have that built-in work ethic. I just 2 days ago, I went back and I visited like the first job I had when I was 14, and I was happy to have that. I was making $4.25 an hour.
Same.
And I could sneaker money, and I could do it. And I would have like $60 a week, and I always had money in my pocket. And I was happy to go do that. And then started cutting hair and doing everything else I was doing on the side. So like that work ethic was there. And it's funny. I talk to kids now because I volunteer in schools, and the conversation it's good on paper, but it's not like fluffed out. So it's like, I'm gonna be a boss. I'm gonna be a CEO. I want to retire when I'm 30, and it's like, so what are you going to do from 15 to 30? How are you going to retire? I'm going to open up a business. Beautiful. What type of business? Well, and when we were kids, at least when, speaking for myself, it was like, I'm going to grind, I'm going to hustle, I'm going to find a way, I'm going to build something up, and I'm going to work. And, and we didn't know about LLCs and these type of things, but it's just like the motivation is different. Like they got the end game right.
Right.
Yeah, don't be an employee, whatever, work for 40 years of your life. Like they got that right. But everything in between, like B to Y, they got A and Z. They're missing B to Y.
Right.
And maybe we had A to H and then missed the rest. But
I was sitting there the other day at home, and I was thirsty. I was eating dinner and I was thirsty. And I was sitting there thinking, man, my son has got it so good, because if it was me growing up, we lived in a split level house. So our kitchen and living area was on the top, and our bedrooms were downstairs. My parents would be sitting upstairs watching TV. I would be down in my room. They would call me from downstairs to go upstairs to the kitchen that's upstairs to get them a drink and bring it to them upstairs. And I could go back to my room. And I was sitting there thinking, like, how good he has it. And then I said, you know what? You're the freaking problem. I'm the problem.
Yeah.
Because I'm the one enabling it. I'm the one that's not asking him. I mean, that wasn't cool then.
Yeah.
I love child labor. Don't get me wrong. Child labor is fantastic. But that wasn't cool then. It's not, it's not cool now. But at the same time, I'm not giving.
Go get me juice from 5. Did he walk to Junior's to get me cheesecake?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's our fault that this is happening, because we don't want them to be uncomfortable. We want their feelings to matter. But in the big scope of things, they don't. And that's the hard part. And I think that's what I feel like we are coming to a place where everything is about to fix itself. It's about to right itself, because we have people that have worked hard our whole lives, right? And we got these young little twerps coming in telling us how we should do our job. And then at the same time, they're just sitting back and doing nothing. And we're the one that are grinding. And I think that people are really getting sick of it. I hope they are. I know I am.
Yeah, what I think is sometimes like we live in a bubble. Like this is kind of like the group of people I'm around. So everybody I'm around is motivated. Everybody I'm around is successful. Everybody I'm around is trying to do the next thing. Everybody's working. So I'm like, no, everything's fine. America's perfect. Everything's. And then I'll go to the airport and like I'll see people interacting with like their kids and their family. I'm like, we're all gonna die. This is not gonna work. Or like, go somewhere where it's highly populated and just see certain things. Or like I read and it's like, 80% of people, 77% of people can't afford $1,000 surprise bill. The average American is 200% in debt. Foreclosures went up, whatever. In the last 2 years, it's going to be over 200%, which, yeah, we're going to make a lot of money off that. Mm-hmm. And, that's another conversation, but not that like we're happy about it, but it's just like so many people are in bad spots. And to add to your point, I don't know if it's only like in the house, because there's other things outside the house that get kind of brought into the house. Cause like the mental health conversations. And listen, I've been in education a long time. I'm a full advocate for all of those things, but I think everything has its proper place. And then there's some people that are like bringing it out too much and making it more like, no, that's not mental illness. Well, that's not mental illness. Right. Yeah. And they're exploiting it. And the people who really need the help aren't getting the help. And the facilities that really need, because it's so exaggerated. So let's talk about mental health, because you're a business owner now.
I am. I ain't got time for fluff, okay?
Yeah, we had a conversation, and we spoke about this too. And I'm not the type of person that takes credit for people's stuff for this, that, and the third. But we had a conversation and stop me if I'm wrong, because I might be remembering this incorrectly. The opportunity that you had, this wasn't the first time that you had the opportunity. Mm-mm. You had it a couple times, maybe a couple times in a couple years.
Yeah, probably 10 times in the last 15 years. Yeah, somebody's offered investors. Different lenders, other title companies have offered to, back me. And I didn't want that. I made really good money, and I have a staff that I love and I've had for a very long time. And so I was happy with that. Again, that corporate structure, we recently got bought out. And so things changed drastically for us, and it just wasn't a part of our culture. And so it didn't work for us. And so that's how we had to find something else. And it presented itself again. And so I jumped at it, obviously.
And we had a conversation.
Yes, we did.
And during that conversation, you were 50-50. Mm-hmm. Maybe 60-40 one way or the other. But you weren't 90-10. You weren't going.
No, you were one of the first people I called to talk about it. And we came and sat down and we kind of walked through numbers and things and ways to save money and, not pay the man. Yeah, absolutely. No, I was terrified. Really terrified because of the girls that work for me. They are dependent on me. Their livelihoods are dependent on me. And most of them are single moms. So I have, 6 women who, their livelihood depends on me. And that's just those women. That doesn't include their families. And so that was a huge, huge undertaking. It was something, and I talked to you about this, about how humbling it has been, that I've had so many people just in the last 10 years or 15 years, I've had 10 people. In the last 4 months, I have had so many people come to me who had more faith in my ability almost than I did. And if you know me, I'm borderline cocky at times. So that's a lot. And that was so refreshing to me to know that people, now it's like I understood now why my girls follow me, no questions asked, because that's a huge deal for their livelihoods, especially my single moms out there, to follow me and know that I'm going to take care of them. Nicole just came back to my company, and, she's part of the family and has been. But same thing, she left a job and came back, and she trusts me to make that happen. And they know it's going to happen. I don't ever let, you create your own destiny. And so we could sit back and let the market come to us, but we're not going to do that. We just had a conversation with another title company, and they're talking about how times are hard. And last month was the best month we've had all year. And I hate when people ask me that, because I feel so self-conscious. I don't want to tell people oh, we're doing amazing. And they're like, I haven't had a check in 4 months. That's a hard conversation to have. But it's not because I'm getting bigger pieces of the pie, because I'm going after people because of appreciation. You know, we'll come back to that. Like, one of the things that I pride myself in, that is my whole marketing schedule, or however you want to plan, is appreciation. I don't want to give stuff to people who don't use me and don't appreciate me and aren't loyal to me. If you are loyal to me, I'd rather go spend $20 on an item and give it to you than go spend, you know, $1 on 100 items and give it to 100 people, because you're gonna come back to me, and I know that. And that's a big, big deal for us, is appreciation. I don't want to just give to people who don't give to us. So we really like to take care of the people who take care of us.
Yeah, and so this season, the theme is Super Friends. So you're here.
Yeah.
So this one fit perfect.
Da, 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 da.
So you're a superhero, right? So this is one that I gotta run it back. We might have to run this on episode 10. So you're a superhero. To me, and y'all could judge, y'all know me, I know my attitude and all that. If I'm a superhero, I'm the Hulk.
Okay.
Right? So like, I'm super cool. I'd be chill, like, you know, like Bruce Banner, like I'm calm, and it's like just, and it's like, then it could be a problem.
Right.
I try to keep it within. Every day I keep the clock down. So I think if I'm a superhero, I'm the Hulk.
Okay. Ooh. I think I'm gonna go with Rogue. Rogue's the one that touches people and
It can
absorbs
take
their
their power,
powers.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Mess around and find out.
That's all right. Listen. All right, that's it. So we have that, and there was one more question, and there's one more piece I wanted to get to. So we had superheroes, and
you know, because knowledge is power. So the more you know, the more that you can apply, the more powerful you are. Same thing. So the more powers I have, right?
Exactly.
The more fun I make
And it perfect. You brought me right back to where the next point in the conversation was going to go. And we'll end on this, and that is, to your point. And I know you say this and you say this a lot, and you know people don't notice. Like, we've probably, I don't know, we closed probably well over 100 deals by now.
Yeah.
Easy. If I did 80 and 60 and 50, and then
easy.
this year, well over 100, maybe surpassing 200. We did 50. So, right. So let's say easily over 100, right? Maybe we'll celebrate. No, I'm just.
Y'all hear
it? That was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke. We'll start put, every time I close, I'm gonna put $10 in the bin.
Okay.
So then when we get to 500, that's 5,000. Boom, that's a watch, right? So
so we're 100 in. Y'all heard it.
Yeah, right. So here goes, minus the scarf.
I heard it.
Right? No, we'll all chip in. We're gonna get you to Santos. We're gonna get you to Santos. No. So, but the conversation is this, and I know you don't really watch sports so much, but this is a good analogy, I think, that speaks to our collaboration and what you're doing, and you taking the plunge and all that, and that it is the team. So you take Mike Tyson, right? The youngest heavyweight champ ever, to me, the best boxer ever. What happened when Customato died, his trainer? You take Kevin Durant. At one point, there was a conversation where Kevin Durant was supposed to be the GOAT. Like, he was even going to surpass LeBron. He did nothing. Went to Golden State, which we kind of say was like a cheat. But he got around a good team, won 2 rings. He left Golden State. Nothing happened since. Michael Jordan did nothing. Phil Jackson came. Pippen came. 6 rings out of 9 years. And you know, left the Bulls to nothing. Jerry's going crazy. But I'm saying it's the team. It's the team. Michael Jordan, before Phil Jackson came, before Pippen came, did nothing but score. He didn't win anything. He didn't even get out the first round. Am I lying about this? It's the team. Jordan said it. It's the team. He said, I could score 32 points a game, 8 points a quarter, but it's not about scoring. It's about the team. You name it. There's all these analogies where just being around the right people makes you better. So you can have all the talent in the world, but without people there to support you, to lift you up, to complement your weaknesses and to highlight your strengths, you're only going to get so far. So I'm glad that, you know, we're able to work together to collab. I'm glad we're able to have a discussion where I feel like you're on the fence and you were deciding, and you had the faith to say, I'm going to take the plunge. And I remember saying, Like, I'll be there. I'll help. You need payroll stuff. You need retirement. Like, I got the guys. Like, please do this.
Well, you guys are the ones who really, I don't want to say forced me, but I mean, it was your confidence in me was amazing, and it was. I've cried many a times over it. I get teary eyed when I talk about it. You know, my girls, their confidence in me is amazing. You know, I never started this life thinking I'm going to be the best title agent in Fayette County. Like I never knew what title insurance was, any of those things. And so to go into that and 20 years later own my own company, and not only that, but to have the best staff. I mean, my girls are amazing. They're trustworthy. They're good at what they do. They're well versed, and they always have my back. It's humbling. It is. I'm so excited about what is coming in the future. You know, again, we haven't slowed down. We're still ginning, and we're looking to spread and do more, and you know, and help more people, giving back to the community. All of those things play a part in it for sure. So yeah. I mean, my girls make me. They definitely have my back, and I say that all the time. If people come and thank me for things, it is nothing for me to walk around the corner and grab the assistant and be like, no, you need to be thanking them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had a closer who taught me a lot, but would always take credit for things. And so I always told myself that is I would never do that to my girls. And so I try not to do that to them. I always want them to feel appreciated and taken care of.
Yeah, you have to, because you can't buy that in business.
No.
Trust, loyalty, integrity, discipline, honor. Well, that's the hardest part of business. Doing the deals is easy. Getting the deals, closing them is another thing, but having the people around you that you can feel like, all right, when I leave, things are going to get done the right way. And not always perfect, right? Because everybody makes mistakes, the ball gets dropped. But it's different when you make a mistake out of honesty or just, you know, everybody's human. But when you're like sleazy,
yeah,
I try to stay away from the sleaze.
Yeah, me too.
The sleaze is no good.
The sleaze makes you work harder if you don't think it, because a lot of times those deals are the quick deals, but they're the ones that always come back and haunt you.
Yeah.
And they will make you work a lot harder. Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to go with your gut. So I think we're going to be able to do this again.
Absolutely.
You want to do this again?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Have me back.
We'll have more watch talk. We'll have more shoe talk.
Maybe we'll be at the 500 deal mark then. Y'all see me.
Y'all kicking in on that? Yeah.
It won't be a meeting. I won't be like.
Yeah. No, yeah. I don't have any money, y'all.
No money at all.
In fact, people watch this and then you sit on the tape, DJ. I don't have it. It's in escrow. This Netco has all about proper. You gotta switch it up.
Proper.
I cut a check to Netco the other day. Can I start cutting checks to proper?
You can start doing proper.
Can I get my money back and just switch it over?
We're gonna switch it over automatically.
All right, so my money's improper now.
Yep.
We got money in escrow, so
we are under contract, so everything moves over automatically, so you don't even have to worry about it.
How okay, do you have your stuff set up so how do they find out, reach out, whatever? How do they get contact?
Well, we haven't gotten our Facebook set up yet. My marketing girl Nicole is slacking. She's being lazy. Didn't want to get it done. She said no Facebook for you, but yes, it's Proper Title TX. So it's our first initial last name at Proper Title TX is any of our contact information. So very similar to what we currently have. Of course, we have new phone numbers and all of that stuff, but you have my cell phone, so you don't ever call the office anyways. But yeah, so if you have an order, you can always reach out to orders at Proper Title TX, or if you have a question, you can email admin at Proper Title TX, and they'll get back with you as well. Yeah.
Let's go. So shout out to everybody again. We appreciate y'all. If y'all don't see me, Iris had nothing to do with it. Y'all have a good night. Peace.